She-Hulk is garbage. Now let's kick off the bat by saying, I think it's safe to say that Marvel isn't doing quite well this year. In fact, Phase 4 has been quite disastrous for them, if anything, with them having very, very little success when it comes to their movies. And despite this being probably the busiest Marvel has ever been, it's been incredibly weak this time. Phase 4 is the worst phase of Marvel so far, and I think we all can agree. With such promising beginnings with WandaVision, but it ending terribly, leaving open for more possibilities. But yeah, Phase 4 has been the worst time for Marvel, where political agendas have been made the forefront and stories have been made the background, which was something that Marvel first started off as doing the opposite of. They focused on the story and they took interesting themes. Now it's more about the political message more than the actual story itself. And we could all see Marvel struggling when it comes to critical review, especially when it comes to their big movies such as Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder, with the latter making less money than hoped. Thor is not even Thor is not enough to save this phase, with an overbloated story, with underused characters, and an overuse of humour. That's one of the MCU's biggest problems so far, humour. They don't know how to use it anymore. Where before it was sparingly used in the best of spots to get a good laugh out of people, it no longer is. And now it's just made the forefront for anything else interesting. Hell, you know it's doing bad when everyone still remembers Endgame and no one can remember the last few shows that Marvel's put out. I have not seen anyone remember anything that happened in Moon Knight, or anything that happened in What If, or anything that even happened in WandaVision, for God's sake. Nothing's really been hitting, which is such a shame because that's usually what Marvel was always good at, leaving an impression on people. That's what the first Iron Man did. That's what the Avengers did. That's what 1 to 3 did. They left an impact on people and improved storytelling. They left possibilities for more things to be expanded upon, and they managed to create characters that felt alive and felt interesting. So that brings me to the topic of today, with the recent She-Hulk series that has been released. Now, I don't think anyone who knows me knows that I don't like this series. In fact, I consider it the worst series I have seen in a long time, and is definitely the worst thing Marvel has ever put out. That's just not without a doubt. She-Hulk is an incredibly bad series. It's painfully bad. It fails at everything a series should be. It fails at a concept, it fails at storytelling, it fails at character writing, it fails at being a She-Hulk series. Now, to kick off the bat, what do I mean by it fails at everything? Well, I think it's safe to say that if we look in the first episode, we'll start to see all the problems. Now, when it comes to a Hulk story, there's only a few routes you can actually take that will actually make the story interesting, because the Hulk and the whole Hulk characters are quite dynamic, and they're mainly a tragic tale with multiple personalities and the feeling of mental illness in a way, and the struggles of life, such as depression and stuff. It can be quite compelling stuff. So what's the best route to take this series like this? Well, Marvel didn't think so it just made it a comedy. A comedy superhero girl boss show. That's not what a Hulk series or She-Hulk series should be. Hell, if anything, it's just as bad as the idea for Fan Four Stick was, where Fan Four Stick thought it was a body horror movie with the Fantastic Four characters, which is just the wrong direction to take these characters. These characters are iconic, lovable, and charismatic. They shouldn't be made dark, glooming, body horror spectacles. No, that's just not the characters. Just like how comedy is not for Hulks. Hulks can be funny, but they're not mainly a comedy. So that's one of the first problems off the bat. In fact, I feel like if they made it more of a character study, that would have been infinitely more interesting for a Hulk series. Now, let's get into the first episode, where we could just see the problems right away. First off, for some reason, Jennifer Walters is self-aware and breaks the fourth wall many times for some reason, thinking she's Deadpool, yet sometimes doesn't break the wall. which is just why. It doesn't add anything like Deadpool, it doesn't add humor, it doesn't add anything. It's literally just talking to the audience for the sake of talking to them or to lecture them. And we see this right off the bat where we're told that she's being belittled by men and the patriarchy, which, why should we care? We don't care about Jennifer. And the worst part is, when she actually becomes a Hulk, it's 13 minutes into the episode. 13 minutes into the episode. You'd think with something as big a scale as becoming a Hulk, you'd save that for like the last bit of an episode, so you have the rest to build a character. No, 13 minutes in, and we're already getting a She-Hulk. Now, sure, you can introduce things faster if you want, to make something more enjoyable to watch. But then again, why should we care? We know nothing about Jennifer Walter. We know nothing about her life. We know nothing about her job. All we know is that she's snarky for the sake of being snarky. She's condescending, and she's just incredibly unlikable. In fact, it's in this car ride with Bruce that really got to me, because we see Bruce, who has been a tortured soul. We've seen him go through the hardship. He's been hunted down by the government, had his social life assassinated. He's had a bullet in his mouth and it's spat it back out. He's been fighting with someone else just to keep his body. He's been locked away for years by another person. And it's just incredibly heartbreaking storytelling, which is why it would work as a character study as we delve into the mind of Bruce. But nope, that is treated as nothing more than a joke and a way to empower She-Hulk. In fact, Hulk literally is belittled by Jennifer. She states to him that you have no idea what I go through. I control my emotions way more than you do. I have been catcalled. I have been catcalled. Compared to what Bruce has gone to, that is disrespectful to not only the Hulk as a character, but to the audience who have sat through all these movies for these characters, and the people who grew up loving Hulk. It's a slap in their face saying, oh, it doesn't matter how much struggle you've gone through, this is much worse. And thing is, this idea probably could have worked, which is the strangest thing. This could have been done right very easily, and it would have been way cheaper than giving us this CGI abomination. No, not that one, this one. And the way they could have done that was simply make a character study. Start off with Jennifer Walters. Show us her life, show us the struggles she has to go through, show us why we should care, like Daredevil. Why do we need to care about these characters? Why do we need to know about them? And if you can't even do that, then you failed at being a series. You failed at it, because you have not given us a reason to care about these characters, and in fact you've done more damage than you have actually improved. We're supposed to be told that she's having a hard life because we're told it. We're never ever shown it. We're never shown that she has to go through these tough things. We're never seen that she has to go through a hardship in her life. No, we're just told that she has to go through these things. We're told that she has gone through these things. And we're just expected to believe it because she's having problems. That is not how you write a character. That's how you write annoyance. And that's how you write someone who you just don't want to see. It completely assassinates all the characters, doesn't allow any new interesting ones to grow. It contradicts itself fully. Jennifer Walters wants to be seen as a respectable lawyer. That's why she discredits the name She-Hulk, which is a problem in itself. Because the real She-Hulk is very charismatic. She's very jokey. And she probably, if it was that She-Hulk, she probably would have taken that name on the chest and would have accepted it right on the bat. But Jennifer Walters begrudgingly accepts it. She denies it. That's not a She-Hulk. That's not a She-Hulk. And she contradicts herself because she wants to be a respectable lawyer. Yet she does this with... God... It makes my blood boil this much. That series like this does well, despite it not deserving it. Yet a series like Primal has to work for it. A Primal, which is a fantastic series that you should definitely watch. That I just saw Colossus Part 2. I'm still gushing about it, and I'm actually excited to watch more of it. There is so many things wrong with She-Hulk. They don't care about their animators, so the CGI looks terrible. They give them ridiculous time delays. They don't care about writing interesting themes. Hell, they don't even care to make it look different from anything else they've released. Think of it. A series, like a show, you can tell it's different from something else. That's why I liked Beast so much. It not only did it feel different, it looked different as well. It took an interesting approach with its camera and the way it was shot. It did do different things. With Marvel, they do the same cookie cutter camera work. Everything is the same bright or dull colors. The camera is stiff, barely moving, nothing dynamic. It's all the same thing. That's why you could take clips from any show or movie, put them together, and you would tell that it was the same thing. You would think it was the same movie or you were seeing, but no, it's completely different things, and yet it looks all the same. There is so many problems wrong with She-Hulk. I could be here for hours discussing how wrong She-Hulk is, but I'd rather not. I want to wait for this whole series to come out and then do a big video discussing every problem with She-Hulk, because there is so many things I have to say about this series that is just terrible. And no, it's not because I hate women, which has been a very common thing I've been seeing. I put a bit of criticism on She-Hulk. I simply put on my Twitter, I don't like She-Hulk. And yet I got an amount of comments saying I am a misogynist or something. That just goes to show how bad of a show this is, when Marvel stans are just blind to loving it. And here's the thing, if you like She-Hulk, more power to you. If you enjoy it, sure, more power to you. But I think it's fair to ask for better things. It's fair to want things that actually challenge things that actually give us something enjoyable. Like, it doesn't have to be a massive work of art, but at least make it worth watching. You know, make it something we actually are invested in. In fact, someone has discussed it in a much more condensed version than I could. So, I'm just going to play the clip right now of CJax525 from TikTok. He describes the series way more slimmed down than I ever could, and just a quick synopsis of how I feel.
It's absolute garbage. Episode 1, Jennifer Walters tells Hulk, who literally was hunted down by the government, had tried to kill him. He tried putting a bullet in his dome because of the stress that came from being a Hulk. Jennifer Walters tells him, I've been through more anger. I control my anger more than you do. Makes no sense. It's stupid. How do you disrespect somebody like that you know has been through what they've been through? It's dumb. That episode was garbage. Episode 2, bunch of sitting around and talking. It's absolutely boring. And it makes no sense either, because if she can control her emotions, why is she just sad, depressed, and angry and lonely the whole entire episode? What is that? Makes no sense. I don't know why I said she was lonely, because that's not an emotion, but don't worry about it. Episode 3. We get to another episode where it's just boring. It's just sitting around and talking. We do a couple court cases, but that's it. It's an empty episode. There's no overt story or character development for her. Nothing's happened yet, and we're 3 episodes deep. It makes no sense. And also for Jen Walters, she wants to be respected in the workplace and, known as a lawyer. So why are you twerking in your office with Megan Thee Stallion then? If you want to be respected, don't act like an idiot. Don't act unprofessional. It makes no sense. That's why this show, in a short manner, is basically garbage. It's not that much to explain, but MCU stans are conditioned to think that every single MCU product is phenomenal or great. And I'm here to tell you, if you think that this show is great, you're a moron, an absolute and utter idiot. And I know somebody in the comment section is going to go like, if you don't like it, don't watch. Guess what, buddy? I like talking about superheroes, so I'm probably going to watch the show. And I also want to form my own opinion on the show so I can see what other people have to say and compare it to what I think. And this is what's going to happen. After I make this video, everyone's going to say, you're a misogynist, you're an MCU hater, you're a sexist. And guess what? You can call me whatever you want. This show is bad, and until you accept that, you're going to remain the same as an MCU meat writer. The show is garbage. Get over it.
There are so many more things I can add to it, but I'm going to save it till the whole series is out for me to judge. Because I think, you know what, despite how bad it is, I'm still willing to give it a chance. I'm still willing to judge it fairly. In a way, I think Marvel is going down the route Transformers did. They start out promising, they give us some interesting things, but a lack of creative freedom and a lack of creative difference creates the same thing over and over and over again. Sure, there might be one or two things you can appreciate, but why would I have to sit through 3 to 4 hours of things just to get to 2 minutes worth of good stuff? That is not how you write something, that is not how you make something. It's going down the route of the Transformers movie did. They assassinated the characters, they made Optimus Prime a well-rounded leader into a bloodthirsty monster who apparently is meant to be seen as a hero when he could easily be seen as a war criminal, and just making everything look the same, make everything overdone. But hell, despite how bad Last Night was, I'd sit through that movie 10 times instead of watching She-Hulk again. I do apologize if I seem angry, because I am. A show like this should not be given praise. Hell, you should not even see this show. It's just so bad, and we deserve better things because we know that they can give us better things, but they don't. They just they just make serviceable sludge, and that's why I've fallen out of love with the MCU. The last thing they did that I actually liked was Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's cheating because they've just taken elements that were made by Sony. Marvel barely had anything to do with that movie other than licensing the characters. It's just depressing at this point. For something that I once saw as amazing and exciting, I now just want it gone. It's killing off the genre that it perfected, superhero movies. And the worst part is, it's not only killing off the superhero genre, but it's ruining the better movies, for an example, where things like this will get more attention because it's Marvel and Disney, and things that actually put the effort in will not get seen at all. There is so much I want to say, but I'm going to save it. I've done enough talking for now. Please just tell me what you guys think. If you actually have something to disagree with, let's discuss it in the comments. But as of right now, She-Hulk is garbage, and it's really bad garbage. Thanks for watching this video either way. I know I don't like to make rant videos. I don't like to be angry, per se, because I like to talk about things I enjoy. But I think it's important to talk about things I don't enjoy as well, because it helps balance things out. And hell, maybe if we talk about the bad things more, maybe they'll actually give us the good stuff. If we don't allow these things to succeed, maybe they actually have to try to give us something enjoyable. So don't watch She-Hulk. Watch something more enjoyable like Beast in cinema or Primal. Watch the better stuff. So, with that, bye.